Imagine a silent room lit only by candlelight. The flame trembles as if it senses something unseen. On the floor, drawn with chalk, salt, or ink, lies a perfect circle. The line is continuous, unbroken, intentional. Outside it, the air feels heavier, uncertain. Inside it, there is a strange calm, as if the world has been pressed pause. From ancient forests to medieval chambers, from whispered incantations to modern neo-pagan gatherings, the magic circle has remained one of the most enduring ritual symbols in human history. It is deceptively simple, just a curved line meeting itself, yet across cultures it represents protection, infinity, authority, and the boundary between worlds. Long before ritual manuals described how to draw one, the circle already carried meaning. In nature, the sun and moon are circular. The horizon curves, seasons move in cycles, birth follows death, and death returns to life. The circle became humanity's visual language for eternity, something without beginning and without end. Unlike a line, it does not point forward, it contains itself. When used in ritual, however, the circle becomes more than symbolic. It becomes psychological architecture. To draw a circle is to define space. It is to say this area is different, this area is sacred. Anthropologists describe this shift as entering a liminal zone, a threshold between the ordinary and the extraordinary. When a practitioner steps inside a ritual circle, the act itself signals to the mind that something meaningful is about to occur. The everyday world is left behind. Inside the boundary, attention sharpens. Many traditions, including modern pagan practices, begin rituals by casting a circle. The word casting is important. It suggests creation, intention, will. The circle is not merely drawn, it is activated. Visualization of light rising from the ground to form an invisible barrier. Whether or not one believes in literal spirits, the psychological effect is undeniable. The circle becomes a container for focus. Why a circle instead of another shape? Psychologically, humans respond differently to curves and angles. Sharp edges can feel aggressive or unstable. A circle encloses gently. It protects without implying attack. It suggests wholeness. Even in infancy, rounded forms are processed as safer. There is also a deep evolutionary memory at work. Early humans gathered in circles around fires for warmth and protection. When threatened, they formed defensive rings. The circle meant safety within and danger beyond. In ritual practice, that ancient survival instinct is symbolically recreated. The circle becomes a boundary between order and chaos. In medieval ceremonial magic, the circle took on even more dramatic meaning. Magicians carefully inscribed divine names, angelic symbols, along its edge. The belief was clear. Spirits could be summoned, but the circle prevented them from crossing freely. It was not only a shield, it was a declaration of authority. The practitioner stood in the center, aligned with cosmic law, commanding forces that might otherwise overwhelm them. When confronting the unknown, the human mind seeks structure. The circle provides that structure. It frames the experience, it creates rules, it gives the illusion of control in the face of mystery. This pattern appears again in psychology. Carl Jung observed that patients in emotional crisis often drew mandalas, circular patterns radiating from a center. He interpreted this as the psyche's attempt to restore balance and unity. When life feels fragmented, the mind reaches for the circle. It organizes chaos into symmetry. The ritual magic circle functions in the same way. It is not merely about keeping demons out, it is about keeping the self together. In many rituals, the four directions are invoked within the circle: east, south, west, north, along with their associated elements. The person standing at its center becomes the axis mundi, the meeting point between earth and sky, body and spirit, conscious and unconscious. Geometry becomes cosmology. There is also a darker dimension to the symbol. In folklore and demonology, a broken circle is dangerous. If the line is smudged or incomplete, protection fails. This belief mirrors a fundamental psychological truth. Boundaries matter. When personal boundaries are unclear, anxiety increases. The broken magic circle is a metaphor for vulnerability. Across horror films and ghost stories, characters instinctively draw circles of salt, light, or chalk when facing supernatural threat. Even those who do not believe recognize the symbol's power. It is archetypal. The circle reassures us that chaos can be contained, at least temporarily. Yet the magic circle is not only about defense, it is also about transformation. Inside a defined space, one can confront fear safely. One can speak intentions aloud. One can symbolically die and be reborn. Rituals of initiation often occur within circular formations because the shape reinforces the idea of completeness. You enter one version of yourself, you leave another. Time itself feels different inside the circle. In ordinary life, time moves linearly, from past to future. In ritual, time becomes cyclical. Participants reenact ancient myths. Nothing truly ends. It returns. Ultimately, the magic circle reveals something profound about human psychology. We are creatures who fear the unknown, yet we are also drawn toward it. We crave mystery, but only if it feels contained. The circle is our compromise. It allows us to approach darkness without being swallowed by it. When the candles burn low and the ritual ends, the circle is erased. The chalk is wiped away, the salt is scattered. But its invisible imprint remains in the mind. For a brief moment, a boundary existed between worlds, or at least between states of consciousness. And perhaps that is the true power of the magic circle. It is not the line on the floor. It is the shift within the human mind. A simple curve, closing upon itself, reminding us we can draw a boundary, step inside, and face the unknown with intention rather than helplessness.